When was the last time you, male, were hit on? How did you feel afterwards? Story 1. Last week, but one, Friday. Cute girl approached me on the campus line for food and uttered, "You're really good looking." Made my day really. Talked with her a bit, got her name but didn't exchange contacts. I just wanted to appreciate her comment. But I couldn't stop thinking of her over that weekend. I knew her course, so I asked a buddy of mine from her class for her number. Got it. Started talking the following Sunday. She set up a date for Wednesday. Went for it. We were there for 3 hours. Was so much fun. Dropped her home. That Friday, she hit me up in the evening saying she was bored. Visited her, caught up, laughed, talked. We were there from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. And then yesterday, we spent time in my car. Was fun. Made out and all. It's almost like I'm in a dream. She invited me over to her place tomorrow, so yeah, that's how that's going for me. How do I feel? I'm in heaven, I won't lie, lol. Story 2. Fresh off a breakup. And I mean brutally fresh. Working in a grocery store to pay my way through college. 21. I notice a girl walk in, and I tell myself she's cute. But because I'm not too confident in my work uniform, and it was always awkward to hit on girls while working anyways, I was gonna leave it at that. 10 minutes later, I have my head down working on the cereal aisle. I hear, "Excuse me, do you know where the Fiji water is?" I look up, and it's her. I say, "Aisle 17. She says thanks, walks away, but turns back and says, "You're very cute," in the most matter-of-fact way you could imagine. I didn't let her leave without getting her number. That was 4 years ago. Still with her. Story 3. Since hitting my mid-30s, it's happening a lot more. It happened maybe once a year in my 20s. Now I get hit on by women 40 to 60 at the grocery store 5 to 6 times per year. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I like to shop for the week early on weekday mornings. There's tons of women in the stores at that time. They're aggressive, bold, and clearly don't have much experience hitting on men, lol. The most recent time I was minding my own business picking out avocados and I heard a voice say, "Wow, you're cute, and you smell heavenly." Then I turn and there's a woman all in my personal space looking deeply into my eyes. I say thanks and she replies, "You're probably too young for me, but we would have so much fun together." They get straight to the point. Story 4. 2 weeks ago, a woman came up to me while I was sitting having a drink with a friend and said, "You're cute, you should take me out on a date." I said, "Thank you, you are cute too, and I'd love to take you out." We exchanged numbers, and I messaged her the next day and asked her on a date for the following weekend. We had a great date, and planned to meet again soon. After she hit on me, I felt fantastic. It was so refreshing and a huge ego boost. Story 5. The thing is, the majority of us wouldn't know because most women are so subtle with their attempts that mostly it just flies over our heads. I myself, when I used to date before settling down, developed a style and conversations where I'd be subtle myself until I noticed the girl opening up enough where I could be pretty direct in my approach. And one thing I was often told was, "Okay, so I'm not crazy. I thought you were flirting with me, but I just wasn't sure." That really made it clear to me that women aren't too great at reading signs either, lol. I think the average woman will notice if you're into her, but will get confused easily trying to put the finger on whether you are making a move or if you're not interested in further engagement. Story 6. Definitely this. It's actually insane how much women evaluate you only by what you look like. I used to be very sporty, and in fact, all my girlfriends from when I was younger initiated contact. I didn't even have to be nice toward them, and they still kept communication, etc. up. I could literally treat them like the biggest asshole and they still wouldn't let up. Then I grew older and larger. Like I wasn't even properly fat or anything, just not top form looking. They didn't even look at me anymore, lol. Now I'm starting to get in form again, and lo and behold, they're right back attracted to me. This is just crazy to me. I never thought most women were this superficial. Life lesson learned. You girls can talk all day long about how guys have to be funny, etc. Over my whole life, only 2 things ultimately decided whether I could land with a girl or not: looks and money. Story 7. About 6 months ago or so, I get hit on a few times a year, but unfortunately, almost always by women I should not be messing with. The problem is, I'm an evil-looking sob with a permanent thug face. Bulky, hairy, scowly, predatory-eyed, shifty. Everyone assumes I must be an actual thug, criminal, alpha, bully, or at least a raging asshole. It does not help that I'm also quite extrovert, confident, and have a growly voice. Years of strep throat would do that to a man. Basically, I look like the kind of a guy who gets billed as Thug number 12 or Barbarian Raider number 7 in action movies. Dudes that look like me get shot by John Wick or kicked in the nuts by Wonder Woman. You'd call the cops on me if I so much passed by your yard, let alone chatted up your daughter. The side effect is that women who approach me are almost always damaged birds who intentionally seek bad men, come with enough baggage to fill a shipping container, and more red flags than Stalin's birthday parade. So when women hit on me, I get two opposite feelings mixed. Yay, am going to get laid. Go me. Yeah, she only wants me as a bad boy accessory to piss off daddy, and could not care less for me as a person. Also, she'll bail once she sees I'm actually a regular dude. In any case, I couldn't pull off being actual bad boy to save my life. I don't do drugs, drink responsibly, drive a fucking soccer mom van, always under the speed limit. And the worst crime I ever committed was kicking a pigeon. I was immediately ashamed afterwards. Story 8. Actually pretty recently. I was out alone on a Saturday night because I couldn't sleep. Real sad because of my ex. She had broken up with me, still kind of was an open wound. Decided to go drink something. Being in the middle of a big city, I looked for a kind of more calm place to go. Found this pub, relative empty, so I sit down outside, get my drink and listen to my music. Eventually, I keep getting drinks and drinks, so the bartender, the girl in question, comes up to me with 2 shots and offers me one, drinking with me to my sadness. I thank her and go back to my stuff. Eventually, she comes back and says that she's feeling really emphatic tonight and that I could open up to her if I wanted. I don't mind opening up to strangers, so I did. So an hour passes and she has to close down the pub, but she tells me, I live just around the corner. If you want to hang out more, giving me a note with her name and number. We end up spending the night together, and about a week and a half more. Wonderful, beautiful time. But she has ghosted me since. Felt really good, honestly. It is a big ego boost, and it makes things so much more interesting. Story 9. During my peak years as a chef, I started getting looks from female customers, cashiers and servers, and the assistant manager as well. Before that, I was unknown and invisible. If that had happened to me 8 years before, I'd be like riding the high clouds. But during my peak years as a chef, I was zoned in, burned out, and just focused on making the money. I flirted a little, but it was more like friendly banter than something serious. I can finally see now that, when you're really high and happy off your work/craft, women see that as attractive qualities, regardless of what you look like or where your money is. The only downside of it was I wasn't paying as much attention to my life as I was with work. Fast forward, I'm no longer a chef, and the last time I was hit on were those peak days. I've tried online dating and other things, and I guess the confidence and swag is not there anymore. I suppose it's time to find things I want to work for that makes me happy first to build back my confidence and attraction. Story 10. Last time I was hit on was on my birthday last year. Celebrated with my close friends at a sushi restaurant, and the waitress was surprised I look young for my age. I turned 37, but she claims I look like I'm in my mid-20s. She said that I would count as a DILF, and I just smiled and laughed it off, saying I'm not even a dad. My friends told me that she was totally hitting on me, but I was convinced she's just being nice and having a light-hearted banter. Later that night, we all decided to go to Starbucks so I can pick up my free birthday drink. The cashier also reacted the same way, saying I don't even look like my age. When I got my drink, I noticed my name had a heart shape drawn around it with a happy birthday greeting written on the cup. My friends joked at me, saying that all of a sudden I became that hot bitch for my birthday, and I gotta say, it was a huge confidence booster, and I don't have a lot of confidence in myself. Story 11. Almost a year ago, I was in school, walking across a parking lot to get lunch. A girl was sitting with her friends by the building I just left, and she shouted out at me across the parking lot, "I like your mustache." There were 3 or 4 girls sitting together, so I wasn't sure who yelled at me, but assumed it was the one who maintained eye contact the longest. I smiled and kept walking, went to get food, then came back, and the girls were gone. I kicked myself for not stopping, then passed by prolonged eye contact girl in the building, stopped, took a deep breath and walked up to her and asked if she was the one that yelled at me outside. About 5 minutes later, I walked away with her number. We had a couple dates. Then she moved 3 states away BC. She was finishing school that week and already had an internship lined up. She was a great kisser though, and very creative. I hope she's doing all right.